Monday night, everybody. It's me. It's Michael B. I want to say hello to everybody here in the show. I see Don Chafee, Adam 12, Knowing His Power, Mike D, who was 77 consecutive times the other night when we played Mario Kart, Sling Spade, who's driving home, but he's listening. Thanks, buddy. 9 Scorpions, Mark LaRock, hello everyone, Zero Hero, Steve B, Robert Timson, David Bellotti, I gotta say that right, David, I apologize, Dan Freeman, Adam Kalb, Joseph Ang, Walton Pepper, Chris Kingsborough, Mr. Chip, Zohar, Weisman, P-Dub sent you, Mr. Stephen Yo, William Tinney, Rubicon Alpha. I know we don't have as many people here as usual, however, that's mainly because no one really wants to talk about having a problem or having an eviction. Oh, there's everybody now. Everybody must have been watching P-Dubs. I didn't even know P-Dubs was live. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming over. I was going to use the joke about Barney Gumboldt when he goes to the AA meeting in his movie he makes, and Lisa goes, Mr. Gumboldt, this is a Girl Scout meeting. And he goes, is it, or is it that you girls can't admit that you have a problem? Anyways, P-Dubs, thank you so much for sending me. Tonight, we're going to talk about some fun topics about arcade and home arcade buying. And we're going to talk about, is there some kind of Arcade1Up addiction? I know I'm probably bitten by the bug. So let's see where it goes. Anyways, it's Chill and Chat with Michael B. Man, that was crazy. I gotta send P-Dubs some money for sending all these people over. P-Dubs, thank you so much, brother. I have a problem, but I pay for all my cabs overnight, so it's not that bad. We all have a problem. Teamwork makes the dream work. So, guys, yeah, that's the thing here. I know I'm not gonna see a lot of DDP fan. Well, I'm a wrestling fan, big wrestling fan, absolutely. So, I know I'm not... I'm sorry, I'm caught a little. I'm not going to get a bunch of Canadian fans here because this is also Game 4 of the Stanley Cup Finals, and the cup can be awarded tonight, so there we go. Cheesy B! Thanks, Don Chafee, I appreciate it. Tonight, we're just going to talk about buying Arcade1Up cabinets. I think more people are addicted to buying them, but not necessarily playing them. Just in time for, I know, WKRP in Cincinnati, don't go anywhere. Really quickly, I got some fun information for you. I know you're one of the many Canadians that might have been looking for a Golden Tee cab. I got some fun news right off the get-go. There's more Golden Tee coming to Canada. The Unicorn is coming back to stores, so keep an eye next week on the brick. It should go up for purchase. It's going to be coming out in mid-August. That's when you'll actually get it, but you can put an order in to buy Golden Tee at the brick next week, $5.99. So, WKRP in Cincinnati, anybody else in Canada that was looking for Golden Tee, there you go. Someone, -1, made a comment who said, I think people are more interested in buying them than they are in playing them. I've always been a fun one on that one, like an interesting one. Congratulations on your chip, Michael B. I know, we're going to get one. I know you got one tonight. Mark, where did you get it from? Because I didn't think the brick actually had it up for pre-order yet. I knew it, Canada isn't real. Thank you very much, Rainwater Games. I appreciate that. By the way, John Diamond, I don't know if you saw, John D, I don't know if you saw on Twitter, he reached out to you to let you know that he wants a 10% cut of your shirts, brother. But a 3/4 Super Chex machine, I'd build a platform. Hey, Chris, they're selling them, but they're expensive. Corey, MCC, Big Blue may be my first Arcade1Up cab. Well, here's the thing. It's like the old Mark Messier Lay's Chips commercial where he'd bite into it and he was like, you can't just have one. Once you start, you got one at the brick for $4.98. You must have went in there and found one of the clearance cabs, Mark LaRock. What? It's still listed at the brick for $4.98. Wow. That's impressive, brother. Congratulations. If people are over, I play my arcade solo. Unless I'm at lunch, it's more rare, Walter Hepner says. Well, I go down to my arcade, and I play my arcade all the time. I love it down there. Sometimes I like just the ambience of turning on all the machines, walking back and forth. I turn on 80s music, and it takes me back to a different time and lets me relax. You may be an addict, but doesn't interfere with your work or relationships. Yeah, so about that, that's a funny thing. I mean, right now, if anybody is putting themselves in financial debt to get these machines, maybe this isn't the right thing to do. But I don't really consider that being the addict thing. Mike Dennis just got one. Yeah, no sweat, Mark LaRock. Congratulations. But the thing is, we all say, are we addicted? I talked about this a little bit a while ago, and my wife said it best. Like, I had just bought the Centipede cab. I had just got it. And I was already looking at ways to possibly buy Space Invaders. And she said it. She said, here you are. You just made a major purchase, and you're already looking at the next machine you're going to buy. And that's when I realized I might have a bit of an issue. Now, the past year, I bought a ton of arcades, but it's also slowed down a bit. And I realized I didn't have to have everything. Of course, I never went out and actually bought that Space Invaders. There's been a couple other cabs. I briefly flirted with Outrun. Like, I bought it secondhand and gave it back to the guy because he wanted it back. Meatball Saucy, what's happening, brother? I also never bought Buck Hunter. There's a couple other ones I didn't buy too. And now I'm at a point where my arcade is full. It's full, like to the max. Kongs Everus, what's happening? Send help. So I'm full right now. And you know what pains me is, like, I almost feel this sense of sadness. I shouldn't, because I have a full arcade. I have a full arcade of awesome games. All awesome games I want to play, but I'm looking and saying, where am I going to put my next one? Because I can't anymore. In order to add something else to this arcade, I'm either going to have to move something out and put something in overflow, or I'm going to have to sell something, and it's a weird thing. LOL issue. You? Yeah, I know, Pitbull, I know. Buck Hunter is fun, way more than expected. We're going to come back to Buck Hunter. I don't know if I did this in a chill and chat, but I'm going to talk about the gun games and what I think they should do. I did it with the driving cabs too, how they should modify it and go with the second run of gun games. So I'll come back and do that on my next chill and chat, I think. Steven C., what's happening? I got to get Buck Hunter, but I hate spending the $900. Yeah, when the price went up in Canada, and we got a heads up, but I was lucky enough that I got out and made my decision ahead of it, but anybody who wants to buy it now went from $749 to $799, so boo. Odds of you getting a Big Blue, Turtles in Time, or an X-Men? Probably X-Men. Right now, X-Men is the one that I wanted the most. My daughter's a big X-Men fan, so I'm going to jump on that, I think. So, X-Men, yeah. Probably might be the only one I buy this year. Depends on if anything comes out that has some great arcade history, or if Outrun, stand-up Outrun gets here to Canada, which pretty much we're at 0.0% chance of it happening right now. So, yeah. Buck Hunter with a 20-inch screen and 4-inch additional riser makes it awesome. Yep, there's modifications that can be made. That's pretty much the whole episode, Jelly Green. We're just talking about the different modifications that could be done. Walmart, that's Walmart in the US. Walmart in Canada had no such deal. It went up in price. I can't wait for X-Men. I'm a big X-Men fan. I'm looking forward to playing it multiplayer with a bunch of other people, playing six player, and most importantly, like, my daughter is at the point right now where she's really starting to enjoy playing video games, especially with me. She can do a couple things, not really play, but she's right at that point. Yesterday, she spent a bunch of time in the arcade with me. Actually was playing Bubbles like crazy. It was getting nuts. I am not getting Killer Instinct so hard, Wiseman. I think that it's a cool cab, and if I had tons of room and lots of money, I would probably get Killer Instinct, but right now, that's not on my list. I don't have space for it. Nice! Excellent. I'm so glad, WKRP in Cincinnati, you got your golden tee. All right, get out of here. Enjoy the Stanley Cup Finals. You don't need an explanation for me on Killer Instinct. Don't ask me. Talk to somebody else. Well, I do want that. Jaster, we'll come back to that. Buck Hunter World and Midway Legacy still need to be built. Wow. I gotta get you a Nintendo, bro. What? What do you mean? I got lots of Nintendos, Pitbull. Now, a Nintendo arcade cab, if you can figure out some way to get me a Nintendo arcade cab, we're good. That would work. Yeah, X-Men's the one I'm looking at. But anyways, so I told you about it. In order for me to get something else, now I have to get rid of something, and there's a sense of remorse there, and that's weird. There shouldn't be a sense of remorse, but I'm taking that break and enjoying what I have a lot. The downside of that, of course, is because I won't have the new cabs, and I won't be able to make reviews, but I always said it doesn't make any sense. Like, I do not get enough views or enough revenue to justify buying a cab in order to just review it. That doesn't make sense for me, and that was never the intention of my channel. I buy stuff because I want it and I want to play it. I don't buy stuff for the sake of reviewing, and that's just stupid. I actually really like my Frogger. The Frogger's not going anywhere, and plus I actually need to get rid of 2 cabs that X-Men where it's a 6-player cab. Yes, Pitbull. If I could find a Donkey Kong here in Newfoundland, Canada, game over, man. Think about how many baby kids I could fit in. Do you think Dragon's Lair... I'm not sure on Dragon's Lair, Mike Hockerts. Let's come back to that. So, right now, I'm at that point where I'm taking the time to enjoy what I have, and I'm not rushing out to buy anything more. The great thing about that is Arcade1Up have actually helped me with that, because Frogger and Centipede are dead men walking. They're not dead men walking. Centipede is one I will never sell, but it might go out into overflow because I do have Centipede on my Atari 12-in-1, although I do want to play it on the vertical screen, but I do need to make room for a 4-player cabinet. And yeah, -1, Time Pilot and Time Pilot 84 are great games. Like, everybody craps on Frogger, but you have no idea the absolute value packed into Frogger with Frogger, which is incredible, and also Time Pilot and Time Pilot 84. Every single game on that cabinet is straight fire. Yeah, I should probably do a review on Frogger. I should get to it at some point. Eight-Bit Brian, I really had to focus on just buying cabs I had a nostalgic attachment with instead of just buying the next cool thing. There's the other thing I wanted to talk about. That's the other funny thing about this. Frogger's not about to hop out of Canada. Why is everybody dogpiling on Frogger? Frogger will stay longer than a lot of other cabinets. I'm going to be honest with you. There's a chance that I will probably lose Marvel Superheroes. There's a chance I will probably lose Centipede to the overflow area. And then I don't know. Honestly, I've toyed with the idea of getting rid of NBA Jam a little bit, but I like NBA Jam, and I'm actually just starting to get good. And then there's the idea of me getting rid of X-Men vs. Street Fighter, and I know people might be surprised by that, but like, I don't get the jam from the online stuff. Like, I like it a lot, but I don't find myself playing it as much. Like, I played it a bunch when I first got it, and like, it's one of the games I don't play in the arcade anymore. And the other thing too is that was one I bought because it was the next big thing, and I was really hyped up and excited about it, like you just mentioned. But I didn't buy it because I had this nostalgic attachment to it from the arcades when I was younger. I never ever played X-Men vs. Street Fighter in the arcades, and I only played Marvel vs. Capcom at home on my Dreamcast. So I don't have that arcade nostalgia for that game, for Marvel superheroes. So they might be expendable, which sucks because I'm a big Marvel fan, but yeah. I don't know. Are you getting Big Blue 12 games, dude? No, I'm not getting Big Blue. I thought about it a little bit, but JJ, no worries, man. Good luck. Go Canadians. Go Habs, go. So I know it has 12 games, but I've said this a million times. I don't care how many games are on an Arcade1Up. Like, I don't buy Arcade1Ups because they have a bunch of games. If games is a, drawing point to a lot of other people, awesome. I like when games are on there and it's something else you can play, but I mainly buy it for the art and the marquee game. I know that sounds crazy, and where I already have the Street Fighter 2 Legacy, and I like that, that's just fine. I'm just going to keep that there. He said Dreamcast props. Yes, I still have my original Dreamcast. X-Men will fill that Marvel void, no worries. Tiny Blue. I like it a lot of new cabs, and I have the room, but I'm going to have to wait. I'm drawing a line in the sand. And that's the other thing. So the Arcade1Up's helping me with my addiction right now. The last cab I bought was Tempest, and that's almost 2 months ago now. So I put in the video title thing. I put up a 1 month chip, but it's actually getting closer to 2. Nikki Z, how are you? So good to see you here again. So I'm at the 1 month mark, going on 2 months, and the funny thing about that is this is actually another celebration too for a real addiction issue I had. I used to smoke cigarettes, and I smoked cigarettes for, from when I was like 15, 16 up until last year, and I actually quit, and that's mainly how I kind of funded this whole arcade hobby I got into. It was just the money I was spending on smokes I was now spending on arcade cabinets. So yeah. So I'm almost a year. It'll be a year mid-July, so pretty close. So I'm almost a year quit smoking, and I haven't bought an Arcade1Up cabinet in almost 2 months, so yay me. And I know everybody thought I was going to crack when... I know everybody thought I was going to crack the other day when the pre-orders went up, but, like, man, those pre-orders, like, it's July 1st, you can put them in, the price, trying to figure out if I want these games, and then the fact they're not coming out till September in the States, and might be October here in Canada, so, like, I see no urgency right now for me to buy any of those cabs. I'm not trying to take away from anybody who's excited. I think that's awesome. Herb Wars, you're forgetting your NES collection addiction. Yeah, I didn't talk about that. We're going to come back to that, Herb Wars. MichaelB, congrats, Mike. I'm a quitter, too. Mama didn't raise no quitter, but quitting smoking, oh my God. I can't tell you how good it feels to be almost quit a year. Like, oh, I didn't know if I'd ever be quit. Like, I ended up losing a relationship in my life earlier and everything because I couldn't quit smoking. And, like, this is going to make you guys think I'm a terrible human being, and maybe I am. But I went out with this girl, and she hated smoking. Like, we both smoked when we started seeing each other, but she hated smoking. And then I said, yeah, let's try to quit. And she made this big deal about if I had smoked again, she'd break up with me. So the minute she said that, I was like, well, I'm just going to smoke behind your back. And I did for like 3 years. So I'm a terrible person. And she caught me. And that was pretty much the end of the relationship. Life-changing to get off cigs. You have no idea. I've got this little girl here that I love so much. And supposedly QVC slipped up in listing a possible Street Fighter 2 Countercade. It's not on the site. We'll come back to that. Guys, I'm going to unload on... If you want spoilers, I got spoilers for you. And here we go. Nikki Z, I didn't want to bring it up, but yes, I know you quit smoking too, and you actually helped me. We talked on Twitter a long time ago. I got a weird memory, and I told you that once I quit, I started getting these weird, like, anxiety attacks, and you actually made me feel so normal about it because you told me, yes, once you quit smoking, that you went through it as well, so, I appreciate the heads up on that, and it made me feel a lot better. I was just possibly dying. So, went from one addiction to another, yeah. Zohar, yeah, I've told you, Zohar. So, people, when you saw the Dim Max Street Fighter Countercade earlier this year, did you not think there weren't going to be tons more? I mean, in that Randy Records leak and in all the other leaks, there's a bunch of Countercades supposedly coming out. And I don't know if this is something Arcade1Up is going to... drop. I haven't seen the last episode yet. Drop officially or not, but like, yeah, there's 2-player Countercades coming. Street Fighter, get ready Zohar, Mortal Kombat. I don't know how it's going to be branded. Marvel Superheroes, a lot of the Wave 3 stuff, maybe even Turtles, like a Turtles Countercade. So if that's your jam, look forward to it coming. Yeah, there's Countercades coming. At least that's what was told to retailers. Hey, P-Dubs sent P-Dubs. I love that guy. P-Dubs makes me very happy. The other addiction that I have, you guys know, anybody who follows me on social media, for a big guy, and someone mentioned it last time here in the chat, they try to bring me down a little bit about it. I'm a big guy, but I really like hamburgers, so I try to treat myself once a week, which ends up turning into like twice a week. There is an NBA Jam Countercade coming as well, DTG, that's what I understand. But I go to this place, food truck called Johnny and Mays, and I'm very excited because I went there last week and they gave me a hat. These hats are only for their staff, so this was the equivalent of being like burger nighted. I was so excited, and I'm happy to wear it here tonight. Countercades have horrible screens with bad viewing angles. They won't work for 2 players. So let's see if they have new screens, because you got to remember all the Countercades, all of them have vertical screens. These are new ones with horizontal square screens. So let's see here where it goes. Partycades, yes. Countercades, no. Thanks, Zohar. I appreciate that, brother. Burgers are awesome. The one I tried on Friday was... from Johnny and Mays it was this 2 beef patties, and then it actually had what's it called, smoked meat, banana pepper, Thousand Island dressing, and a slice of Swiss cheese, and it was unreal. Probably my favorite burger I ever had from Johnny and Mays. Now I'm going back sometime this week, and they got a chicken burger. I want to get there before it's gone. That's the thing about Johnny and Mays you guys don't realize too. Their menu is pretty much, if you don't go and get it the day it comes out, there's a chance it won't be there the next day. They have some static menu items, but every week they try something new, and it's crazy. So they've also got one now, and it's so stupid, but I want to try it. My wife hates it. Is peanut butter and jelly chicken sandwich, and I just got to try it. I've never tried In-N-Out Burger. We actually just got a Five Guys here, and Five Guys was like my traveling must-have, so I'm so excited we have Five Guys here. That's making it hard because the one trip to Johnny and Mays is now turning into 1 trip to Johnny and Mays and 1 trip to Five Guys. Super Pac-Man has a micro SD card slot too. Yeah, I noticed that. Brad O'Connell, I never met... banana pepper, Thousand Island dressing makes me... it was so good. Like, I love hot stuff. Love hot stuff. So back to the addiction thing. Let's talk about this from different views. So I've talked about it. Obviously, I have some kind of addiction to Arcade1Up cabinets, but what do you guys think? Is there an addiction to buying these? Like, is it normal to have a room dedicated to arcade machines in your house? Well, collecting in general is an addictive habit. People with addictive personalities tend to collect things. I mean, I remember before I really got into the arcade stuff with Arcade1Up, I always wanted an arcade cabinet. I actually found a YouTube video I did 9-10 years ago talking about how I wanted to get specific Arcade1Up cabinets. When I cheat, I do for lobster ravioli at Cafe Toscano here in my town, all homemade with vodka sauce. I don't do seafood at all, Deputy Van Halen, but man, like, it is when you have something special you love. Arcade owners have barns, sheds full of machines. Yeah, I told you I watched a video one time where a guy bought a second house. He bought the house next to him to fill it up with arcades. So, I'm an arcadeaholic. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us for this first meeting of Arcade1Up Anonymous. And we'll take care of each other. Used to collect marbles, toy cars, comic books. Oh, man, I collect so much stuff, like video games. For those of you who've been watching me for years and still watching me for some reason, at one point I had close to 700 NES games. I almost had a full set. Hey, to die for, what's happening, brother? Thanks, Don Chafee. Bring on Zohar to give his expert opinion on addiction. Game room is full, 16 cabs. Guest room now has 4 and 1 in the master bedroom. Addiction is very real. Yes, it does exist. It's an addictive personality, to add all this stuff. Realistically, when I saw this, I wanted 1, and I got Street Fighter. And then Turtles came out, and Turtles was on my list. It was I needed it. I absolutely needed it. And then I got that. And then everything just went to hell, and I needed the next one. Someone else on Twitter earlier talked about, or it might have been on Facebook, talked about there's actually some kind of addiction for building things. There's an addiction for just building things. So people are buying Arcade1Up cabinets because they actually enjoy the building problem. Yeah, see, Nikki Z, no one's saying anything about it being a problem because we can't afford it. It's just, that need, the crazy need to buy like the next cabinet, but really you enjoy it, and there's nothing wrong with having a hobby. Retro Ralph, thank you so much for the super chat, brother. Yes, it's normal to fill a room of your home with arcade machines. Oh, and I didn't know you like spacey foods. We need to talk. Some good recommendations. Thank you so much, Ralph. Love you too, brother. Zohar will get deep and talk about a reward system in the brain and ask if they have any childhood trauma. Oh, we're just talking about addictions to die for. And Ralph, everybody say congratulations to Ralph. That first episode of Chasing Nostalgia was fantastic. Like, good job, man. Like, you got something fun there. It was so much fun to go to Arcade and look at everything there. The show shot really well. Done, great job. Thank you so much. Yeah, see, I obsess about the arcades too, and that's what my wife used to absolutely hate, because I just talk about arcades and what is on sale and when can I get it. You know, it's just nuts, and you know I shouldn't be doing that. But I'm going to talk about this from a different perspective too. So we look at like addiction, and they always used to talk about like the people trying to sell drugs to people when they were younger, and there was always the hook of the first one's free, but you got to pay for the next one. So they would get you addicted first, and then that's when they get their claws in you. So you look at this, and we talked about these big sales for Arcade1Up where everybody goes up and fills up their room. Like when the cabs went on clearance, people were buying stuff for $50, $100, $200, and they started getting more and more and more. Now all of a sudden the deals are starting to dry up, and people need them as soon as they come out, and they've gone from $300 to $400 all of a sudden to like $600. And you know, there it is. They got their hooks in you. Now they're raising up the price. Now you got to pay full price now that you know you need it. So I find it funny that we're here talking about arcade addiction. And yeah, the hooks are in and the prices are gone up. Thanks, buddy. You would have been in heaven. So many. Oh, yeah. And that's the other thing, too. Like, everything he had in there, like, it was all rock hard 80s stuff. And I love the fact that he talked about, like, he got into the machines, but once he started playing pinball, it was like a whole new addiction, and pinball really became on something. I love Frogger. Like, and yeah, the Frogger on the 2600, I played that a bunch. It's Frogger. Frogger's awesome. Sure, it has the wrong music, it has the wrong art, it even has the horrible bilinear filtering, but at the end of the day, it's fun. Negative One says, I also wait until things are on clearance. I never pre-order or buy things when they first come out. Yeah, and that's cool if you can do that, right? Not everybody can do that. Some people can't help themselves. They got to get it. Yeah, and Ralph, that's the other funny thing too. Like, people say the cool thing about this with Arcade1Up is how you control your addiction is you only buy the stuff that you're nostalgic for. But what happens if the stuff that you're nostalgic for, like me, I mean, I didn't grow up in the 80s arcades. I grew up in the, late 80s, early 90s. So the stuff I'm nostalgic for is mainly based around 89 to 95. That's really my sweet spot time period where I was going to the arcades. But that's not necessarily the games I want, because the more I got into arcade history and arcade culture and I was playing these arcades, I started drifting towards the 80s games. So I've got stuff in my arcade now that's nostalgic for me that I'm considering getting rid of because I want to bring in stuff that wasn't nostalgic to me, but it's part of arcade history. And is that part of the addiction, or is that just realizing my tastes have changed and I like different things? So, like, I want a Robotron 2084 so bad. If Arcade1Up makes it, believe me, I will get rid of something more modern that I have nostalgia for from actually being in the arcade, and I will get rid of that to add a Robotron. Jungle Hunt is personal fave as well. I love Zookeeper, and the actual arcade games. I can't remember who makes Zookeeper. It's a Taito game, but anyways, apparently they're impossible to keep running. But Zookeeper is such a stupid game, but it's so fun. I love it. Thank you so much, Loco Maverick. Yeah, it's time for the mid-show dance, and yeah, so guys, check out my Timex Pac-Man Drip Watch. I love this thing. I have a digital watch. My wife absolutely hates it because it's so nerdy, but I got the Pac-Man T80, Timex T80. And I've been wearing this thing nonstop. And it beeps every hour. Oh, Knife Teeth. Robotron sucks, dude. I strongly disagree. Robotron is incredible. But, you know, everybody has different tastes. So if you don't like Robotron, fine. I love Robotron. Robotron, the art, everything is amazing. What is it about Robotron? Just curious. It's a fast and frantic twin-stick shooter. It's all about the challenge, the art, everything is just incredible. What's happening on the Simpsons machine, Simpsons Kid? They are just trying to figure out what they're going to do. There was some hold-up about Simpsons Bowling, so they're trying to go from there. I really liked the Taito Superman arcade in the late 80s. I still got to play that. I've had that on my list for a while to go back and play. Robotron is amazing, very addictive, super hard, challenging game, one of the best twin-stick shooters ever, 100%. Like, it's simplistic, like, graphic-wise, but, like, the sounds, the lights, it's awesome. If you want a history on, like, Robotron 2084, there's a show called Arcade Impossible where the guy goes around and buys these old arcades. He doesn't make as much stuff anymore, but he's a big Robotron 2084 fan, and you watch his stuff and you'll kind of get the bug for it a little bit, and then when you play it, so... Yeah, I love... Smash TV is kind of like the sequel to Robotron, tied in with stealing some stuff from the Running Man movie. So if you like Smash TV, you should like Robotron. Absolutely. See, your Johnny Amaze picks make me want to take a road trip just for a burger. And they're such good people, too. Love them. Love them. I do like Sinistar. I haven't played it that much, Ralph. I've got a... It's not one I've come across very much. And it's not something I played during emulation. Like, I don't know if you saw it, Ralph, but I went to like a bowling alley, which is like the only closest thing we have to a retro arcade here, and they had two cabinets. They had a double Arctic Thunder, where one of the monitors was going out, and then they had like a Nickelodeon racing game that was down. That's it. We don't have any arcades here, so like I've never played Sinistar in the arcade in its natural habitat. I've only read about it, so I've got to go back and play Sinistar. It's not something that I've ran to yet. Yeah, I've heard that about Sinistar. And what's the other one? Apparently Berserk too. Like Berserk has this like head that comes in and goes like. I can't remember exactly. The only reason I know about that is watching that movie Chasing Ghosts, the documentary. Eugene Jarvis, 100%. And Arcade1Up is supposedly working with him right now. Ralph, you know this. Is Eugene Jarvis with Raw Thrills in some capacity? I don't know. Yeah, I will. I will play it through nefarious means later tonight, Retro Ralph. Try it out based on your recommendation. 100%. Sinistar and Robotron are such iconic sounds. Yep. Beware, I hunger. All right, I'm 100% going to check it out. 100%. Oh, yeah. Well... I keep making the joke that I want the Exidy shooters, so like Crossbow and Chiller. But yeah, I mean, Arcade1Up, I think there's more shooting games in the future. There definitely is going to be more. Where do they go next? We'll talk about that another time. Heroin and deviled eggs, don't try it. Not a winning combination. Chasing Nostalgia has hit written all over it. That's what we did after Chasing Nostalgia. We were playing Mario Kart, and I kept telling everybody, Chasing Nostalgia. Midway Classics on Xbox will be free this month on Xbox Gold, has Robotron and more. Yeah, I'm also picky on the way I play stuff. I could play Robotron. Like, I could have played Sinistar at any time on my Raspberry Pi with a controller. I didn't have an arcade stick, so I want an arcade stick. Sunset Riders would be awesome. Sunset Riders is a tough one because unless they do some kind of Konami 4-player beat 'em up Legacy cabinet. I don't know if we're ever going to get Sunset Riders, because I don't know if Arcade1Up's going to make a Sunset Riders cab. And, it's not going to show up on X-Men or Simpsons. Yeah, he's the CEO of Raw Thrills. I think that's his title. He's basically keeping new games coming to modern arcades. Yeah. I couldn't remember exactly. I know of Eugene Jarvis, but I watched one thing on Raw Thrills. John's Arcade went to Raw Thrills one time. You might have talked to him too, and that's why I'm making the connection. I just can't remember off the top of my head. I have a Mario 3 watch in box still from 1990. That's cool. Without Nintendo, this hobby has a hole in its soul. Yeah, they gotta get Nintendo. At some point, they got to. He had a Tesla with a license plate that said Atari. I play Sunset Riders because I've talked about this before. I just really like beat 'em ups. If I'm gonna play something where I'm just gonna relax and chill out, I'll grab a stool, I'll go to one of my arcade cabinets, and I'll just play through a beat 'em up. Last night I played through Golden Axe: Revenge of Death Adder. John D did say Sunset Riders would be a lead cab. He might have said that, but does Walmart, Best Buy, do they know what Sunset Riders are? Who's he going to sell Sunset Riders to? Is it going to be a cab that they sell directly through their company? Ralph brings this up on his show all the time, and he's 100% right. They can't just put whatever they want out into stores. It has to be something the stores are going to pick up. And I don't know if Sunset Riders is a big enough name, and especially $700 a pop now, to get it out there. I would buy a Sunset Riders. I love Sunset Riders. I was just trying to say, I play it a lot. I still have to play Cowboys at Moo Mesa. I've loaded it up a couple times to go through it, and it's always 4 o'clock in the morning, and I'm I'm going to play through this now. And then I realize it's 4 o'clock in the morning, and I go to bed. I said that too. If they're going to do a new Switch, that's an advanced Switch, Super Nintendo Switch, 100% that needs to be the name. Stila, what's happening, brother? My grandma will buy Sunset Riders off QVC. Marble Madness. I gotta play it. Is Cowboy Moo Mesa, I've started it. Is it very similar to Sunset Riders? Any interest in the Pac-Man Galaga 1981 cabinet? No, not me. I think it's cool. I'm really excited for the people that wanted it. I shared a picture with Ralph of me actually getting to play the original years and years ago when I didn't have any gray in my beard. But that's not for me. I've got a Pac-Man, and I've got a Miss Pac-Man, and I want the original art. I don't like the half and half art. I'm no offense to anybody who likes it. That's just not for me. Just because we want Nintendo does not mean it will ever be possible. Making your own will be the only way I see to have a Nintendo 3/4 arcade. You might be right, Brad. You might be 100% right. She died last year. QVC's core audience is 100% seniors, so my eyes, the goggles do nothing. Thank you, Stu, Mr. Dude 206, for stopping by for your troll comment. I appreciate it. Yeah, I've Jolly Green, I've said this 1,000 times. I 100% want to do it. I want to go to Fun Spot as a community. All of us go and show off our skills. It's better than Ninja Clowns. Yes, that's true. I would love to do some kind of get together. I've been talking about this as a fan in the Retro Ralph show. I always make the joke that we need to have Retro Ralph Fan Fest at the Chili's parking lot. And if anybody watches The Office, you know that Mike likes to have his meetings at Chili's. So, but I would love to do something like that. We could go to Fun Spot. We could go to Galloping Ghost. We could go to the Pinball Hall of Fame. There's so many amazing places we could go to and have some kind of get together. I would love just to hang out with some of you guys, go get a burger and play some arcades and pinballs. And I would like to go somewhere where there's some real arcades and pinballs, because there ain't shit here. So that would be awesome. Cadillacs and Dinosaurs is really, really good game. I mean, Capcom and Konami just did some great stuff. Cadillacs and Dinosaurs are good. One I didn't like that was highly recommended to me was Undercover Cops. I just did not enjoy Undercover Cops. I found it really super repetitive, so no, that one wasn't for me. But Cadillacs and Dinosaurs, fine wine. I like the Wi-Fi option to post high scores, but yeah, I know, and you've got me buzzed right now on Tempest as well, and I'm playing it more than I should right now, trying to figure out how to get my scores up there. Something I need to ask you, Attorney Arcade. I'm still not very good. Like, my top score is I'm somewhere around that 70,000 mark right now, so I got a long way to go. But once you get over the next hump, can you then start at that next level every time you go in, or do you still have to go back down to the one that's something like 55,000 or... Go to BitBar in Texas. Yes, Mr. Dude, I would like to go to Texas because I want to try Whataburger. So next time you're going to Texas, how about instead of just going to see Ken, you tell your friends and maybe we could all possibly plan a trip together. Atari Ninja. Someone actually suggested to me on, I think it was Twitter earlier, that I should do an episode of Chill and Chat where I just talk to you guys and ask you guys what your dream cabinets from Arcade1Up are. You know, right now where I lie, my three if you include Donkey Kong, but two for me, the biggest ones are Robotron 2084, actually Robotron and not Smash TV, and G.I. Joe. Like, I would love that. So, we'll see. You start at the next level. So you do, once you hit one of those starting scores, you can go to those next levels that they have up there. Okay. Because you know what I'm asking about. Like, when you get to the level select where you want to start, it won't let me go to the last one over. And I just assumed that I needed to get that score to get there. Sorry, guys. I'm subverting the chat to ask Attorney Arcade how I do better in Tempest. Sammy Hager has a cabo, I can't say that right. Tempest allows you to continue at a higher level, but if you restart, you have to clear... Yeah, that's fine. Ooh, Moon Patrol and Jungle King for the nostalgia. There's so many classic arcade games they can make. Like, really, really do well with. Sailor Moon Arcade for UAG. My daughter is actually a pretty big Sailor Moon arcade fan. I would buy Cuber Countercade day one. You know, P-Dubs, I'm fascinated by the fact that they haven't made a Cuber yet. Like, I don't get it. I don't get it. Like, I know they say that the controls are wacky, but... Michael B., will you ever come to LA to try an In-N-Out burger, animal style? Yes, I 100% will come back to LA. I was in LA... I don't know, when were we in LA? About 11 years ago, right after I got engaged to my wife. We went to Anaheim, went to Disney, spent a couple days in LA too. So, been out that way, love the climate. It's super late there because you got to understand, like, I don't know what time it is for you now, Zohar, but you're 4.5 hours ahead of me. So we went to a hockey game and I fell asleep watching my first ever Detroit Red Wings hockey game, which is my favorite team. So Cubert is not fun, yes, but it's super classic arcade cabinet. It's so well known. People will love it. I won't buy Cubert, but P-Dubs wants it. Yeah, we did fly into LAX. It was wild. And then we went to, like, rent-a-car place. Took, like, 3 hours to get the rent-a-car. Wow. We'll come back to this. We're not going to do it today. We're not going to talk about the Dream Cabs today. That's something we're going to do in the future. All right, Zohar. If I get back to LA, we'll talk about it. There's been some conversation about going to Vegas with the Pinball Hall of Fame. I know P-Dubs talked about it. P-Dubs not far away, going to visit Rexer and then doing the Hall of Fame. Like, I really want to do the Fun Spot trip. Like, for me, that's the one I want to go to. Or I'd go to Chicago, because if I go to Chicago, I could also have some really good deep dish pizza, which I'm dying to try out. And I know they got White Castle. White Castle is rampant in Chicago, which I got to go try. Then we can hit up Galloping Ghost, and there's some fun, like, I want to go to SummerSlam in Vegas. You know what? I'm over going to WWF wrestling events. I went to WrestleMania, and that was a cool experience. And if I never get to another WWF event, I'm fine. Mostly because I'm a little soured. I don't enjoy the product as much as I used to right now. I love wrestling, but I'm having a hard time enjoying WWE. I've had New York pizza. I want to try the Chicago pizza. I'm not going to say which one's better. Oh, White Castle. I went to WrestleMania 27, which is arguably received as the worst WrestleMania. The worst. Because there was no title changes. I've been to Connecticut. I only drove through, but we went to New York. My sister was going to the Manhattan School of Music, my sister-in-law. So my wife was going to law school in New Brunswick, Fredericton, New Brunswick, and we drove up through Fredericton, up through Maine. We stayed in Maine. Then the next day we got up and we kept driving. We went all the way through to Boston. Stayed in Boston a couple days. Got in a car accident. Destroyed our brand new car. Got in a rental car. And then we were so worked up about getting in the accident. Right before we got to New York, as we were going through Connecticut, we found a Cracker Barrel, which is one of our favorite restaurant chains, and we didn't expect to see it in New York, but we found a Cracker Barrel right around Connecticut, and went in and had it. And then on the way out, I'll take you to a Wings game at the new Little Caesar Arena, 10 minutes away in Windsor. I've got relatives in Windsor, too, Attorney Arcade. I really should go. My wife almost went to the University of Windsor. Is it University of Windsor? Or University of Guelph? I can't remember. There was a law school there, and she almost went, and we talked about that. We could go to Red Wings games. Hey, Kev2112. Greetings from Hockeytown. I've never been to the new Little Caesars Arena, and it kills me I never got to the Joe. I can't drive stick, Deputy Van Halen, but I do want to get to Cleveland, because I've got to go see, I don't have my hat here, but my favorite baseball team is Cleveland Indians. So I've always wanted to get to the Jake, or whatever it's called now, Progressive Field. I'll always call it Jacobs Field. So been to that Cracker Barrel. Only one near me in Connecticut. Yep. Well, this turned into a food conversation, didn't it, guys? Pretty quickly. Oh, I love Cracker Barrel. I'll never forget the first time I went. You go in there, and you're like, yeah, I'll have the fried chicken. You get 2 sides. And then I'm like, yeah, I'll get a sundae for dessert. And they came out, and they were like, yeah, so here's your bill, $7. And I'm like, that's crazy. The food was so good. The atmosphere is good. Everything tastes good. Still won't happen right out of John D's mouth. Which one are you talking about now, Pitbull? I missed that. No, I'm not watching the Stanley Cup Finals because, and honestly, like, it's sad to say, but I can't watch it. Like, Montreal's just getting slaughtered by Tampa. I can't watch that. Like, Tampa is $18 million above the salary cap. On top of that, Tampa's actually around $35 million above the salary cap because Tampa, there's no state taxes. So, Nikita Kucherov signed a contract there for $8 million. $8 million counts against the salary cap. But in relative terms, Connor McDavid gets $13 million a year. But because of taxes, Nikita Kucherov actually makes a little bit more than Connor McDavid, even though he's only making $8 million. So they've got 2 of those things going for them. Plus, Nikita Kucherov stayed off this year. I'm not going to get into it. Anyways, Montreal, I think Montreal might win tonight, and then Tampa will take Game 5 at home. We'll see. But I'm just so bummed out. Like, I was so excited Montreal made it to the finals. Man, it's been 1993 since a Canadian team made it to the Stanley Cup Finals. And, like, it's also been 1993 since Gary Bettman was hired as the, the commissioner in the NHL. And not a Canadian team has won since. So, Montreal made me cry as a kid. I was a Whalers fan. The Whalers were flying, yo. The Whalers were flying. Oh, I'm not hating on Tampa. Not hating on Tampa, but they are 28 million, 33 million above the above the salary cap. I don't think the Sens are in any position to win anything, but I do like the direction they're going in. They got a good young team. They've made some interesting trades and hires, and they went back to their original jerseys, which are beautiful, so very happy. Anyways, guys, that's pretty much the conversation for tonight. Like, it's a fun thing that we're doing here. This hobby is fun, and as long as you're not putting yourself in a bad situation, like, it's okay. It's okay to be a little bit addicted as long as you're having fun and enjoying it. Don't buy these things for the wrong reasons. Like, anybody getting into this stuff and thinking of doing YouTube, don't be buying Arcade1Up cabinets just to review them. Like, the return on investment's never there. Like, like guys like Ralph and Cool Toy, maybe they do well enough, but like, honestly, it'd take like somewhere between 50 and 100,000 views on a video to even come close to paying off your investment in making that. So don't buy an Arcade1Up cabinet unless you really, really, really want that Arcade1Up cabinet for yourself, and then you can make a review. And I apologize, I'm probably not going to be doing as many as Arcade1Up reviews going forward, just because I'm not going to be buying as many cabs because I don't have as much. Phoenix Suns. I am really super excited about the Phoenix Suns being in the finals. Like, none of the players on the Suns I'm a huge fan of anymore, but I used to be the biggest Jason Kidd fan in basketball. And when he got traded to the Suns, I was all in on the Suns. I used to have this old school basketball net on the side of my house, and it actually had a Phoenix Suns mesh. So it was like a tricolor mesh with the Suns logo on it, and I was all about the Suns. I was even kind of sort of into the Suns, even though I liked the Bulls when I was younger. When the Suns and Bulls made it to the finals against each other, I like Barkley. I always play as the Suns when I play NBA Jam. That's my go-to team, Thunder Dan Marley and Barkley. So I'm excited that the Suns aren't terrible. It's been a long time since the Suns have been good. I think the last time the Suns even remotely had a chance is the year they had all the guards and they were playing that small ball. They made small ball really famous, but they really couldn't get too far. Like, it was still hard. So really cool to see them back in the finals. Really cool to see Chris Paul like resurrect his career. So hopefully that's going to be a very fun series. I don't think the Suns have ever won the championship before. The Bucks haven't won since Lou Alcindor, better known as Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, won it in his rookie year. So they were an expansion team, and they won it as an expansion team. They're the only expansion team I can think of that ever won a championship year one. P-dubs. Yzerman built the Lightning. Yeah, and Yzerman's my favorite player of all time. Like, I've got an Yzerman jersey downstairs. His official game jersey. It's the only official game jersey I have. It's the old Nike one from 1996. And man, I loved Yzerman. And I know he did such a good job with Detroit, with Tampa. And like, no one should be surprised Tampa's as good as they are. On top of the great trades that Yzerman made and the GM that came after him, I mean, their farm team was unreal, like unbeatable. For 4 years down in the AHL. So anyways, I'm getting off topic. Like I said, no one should be buying these things just for reviews. Buy them because you want them, and as long as you're not putting yourself in a bad spot, don't feel bad about buying them. I've had such a good experience this past year, especially during the pandemic, collecting these Arcade1Up cabinets, building the arcade in my basement, and I really, really enjoy it. I spend a lot of time down there. I enjoy playing the games. I enjoy chasing scores. I go back and forth. I've enjoyed pinball a lot. This has been a really fun hobby. Have I been addicted? Absolutely. Have I bought cabs just because I could? Yeah, I have. X-Men vs. Street Fighter and Marvel Superheroes. And here we are just a little while later, and I'm possibly talking about getting rid of 2 of those to put in some classic stuff. Now, going forward, I'm going to have to be a little bit more picky. So Zohar asked me earlier, am I going to buy Big Blue? No, I'm not going to buy Big Blue. I like the idea of playing online against people, but I already bought a Street Fighter this year, and I like a lot of the games on that. It has my Final Fight games, and I want to keep that. There's a lot of great games on Big Blue, but I'm not going to put 2 Street Fighters in my arcade. I mean, the point when we start to have multiple of the same marquee game title, that's the point where maybe you've got too many arcades or you're a little bit addicted. Then, greatest player of all time, deadlift shrimp. I don't know about that Mike Hawks, Harry. I don't know. Polo, my day was really good, man. I had an awesome day. I went to the dentist and got some dental work done. He didn't extract one of my teeth, so that was okay. Then on top of that, I had a good night with my family, good night with my daughter. Tomorrow I go pick up my new 2021 Ford Explorer XLT. What is it called? Eternal Blue. I think that's the color. It's a new wild color. I'm Retro Ralph and I'm addicted. If you're addicted, admit it to it. Live on a show. That's what we're doing. This is a safe space, Ralph. We're all addicted. And you're killing me, man. Like, Ralph, I've made no jokes about this. Like, I'm watching guys when I first started really following the hobby. I would mainly watch Ralph, Cool Toy, P-Dubs, and RGT85 is what suckered me into this so bad because I was watching his stuff. Then I started watching their stuff, and it got me so motivated. And now I'm watching a lot of the stuff Ralph's doing that he's focused more on the real arcades, and I'm thinking, I could be doing this stuff too. I could be, I could figure out how to, how to fix arcades, and I can't. I do not have the technical know-how, but, if something came up the right amount of money and I could find something that would work, maybe I should. Like, if I could find, if I came across a Pac-Man, for the right price, even if it was broken, maybe I would take that on as a project. And maybe I would get into real arcades, but it's so hard here. But it makes me so jealous watching all these guys with the real arcade cabinets. But, Ralph, you brought up a really good comment on your show last week, too, which is what's going to be the biggest challenge for these guys going forward. And it's the fact that CRTs don't exist anymore. And I'm starting to notice a lot of these guys have started to, that were like, shame on LCD conversions, the worst thing you can do, starting to justify more and more putting LCDs in certain cabs, the ones that aren't the real classics. Eventually that's going to roll over to the real classics as well. So maybe there's reckoning or change coming with the real arcade collecting hobby yet too. Who knows? Hey, Dylan J, what's happening, brother? Yeah, everybody does so much. They break a lot. I know. Arcades break a lot. Like, I always find it funny when you go, like, I watch a lot of people's tours. Like, that's one of my big addictions is I go online and I'm like, that's what I was about to say. I go online and I just type in, like, home arcade tour. And every single time you watch somebody do a home arcade tour, a machine is down. Like, I don't know how it's possible, but if you own a home arcade, a machine is down. And what happens is, if you own a home arcade with pinball tables, the pinball tables are always going to have some kind of problem. More so than even the arcades. I know, I followed this stuff, and that's why I always kind of lean to Arcade1Up. It's easy. Like, if I have a problem with my Arcade1Up, it's usually a really stupid, easy fix that even I could do. So, Pitbull just said it, Zookeeper. Yes, I talked about that. The Zookeeper, some reason, those Taito games, like, what's the other one? Like, Jungle King, Jungle Hunt, all those Taito games. I don't even know if that's the right one, but they're always, apparently Zookeeper is always down. It's a nightmare to keep going. Also, the Vector games, the screens, Deputy Van Halen, John's Arcade, he's always got a broken arcade or popcorn machine. He got a new popcorn machine when he came back, so everything's good now with the popcorn machine. Frog Time is the best YouTube channel out there. I've never watched Frog Time, but if it's about Frogger, oh yeah. Yes, Mike Denny, you got your Golden Tee? Awesome. I don't play Golden Tee as much as I could. I love Zookeeper. I don't play Golden Tee as much as I should, but I was playing it. I dread the day my Tempest dies. It's tough, man. Like, I watched the last John's Arcade, and they brought a guy in that's doing these FPGA boards for Tempest and also for Space Duel that has a bunch of those old Atari games on it. And when they were doing it, he had, was it a Major Havoc or a Space Duel? I think it was a Major Havoc. And it was a horizontal monitor. and they were putting the FPGA board in the monitor collapsed. Half the monitor collapsed. So they had to go take a working screen out of the Tempest and stick it in the other one just to show his new FPGA board. So it's fun. What is he going to eat next? P-dubs, that damn frog doesn't quit. I don't know what you guys are talking about. You're killing me. Anyways, guys, I could stay here all night talking to you, but I want to go back down and spend some time in my arcade, so I'm going to be selfish now. You guys are all amazing. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Let me talk a little bit about my Arcade1Up and arcade addiction and buying the stuff. And talking to you guys always makes me feel a little bit better about it. I'm trying to be good. I'm trying to enjoy the stuff I have right now, not need to rush out. Arcade1Up is helping by not really having things readily available right now, new things. And with the prices go up, and with my arcade full, I'm going to be... My Outrun 2 just collapsed. I spent the day swapping it out. It's never ending, but it's fun. It is. Like, I get it. Like, anyways, I could go on for a million. Guys, have a wonderful night. Go down. Tell your arcades you love them. You don't need to replace them with anything else. Spend some time with them. I'll talk to everybody later. This is Michael B. the Game Genie. Thanks for joining me tonight. Go Habs, go. And I'll talk to you next time.